Blessed be the name of the Lord, guys. I'm here again. I'm sorry, I've been a few days away, but been really resting, people. Resting. I know yesterday a lot of people had Father's Day and all that, so I hope you guys on my channel had a wonderful Father's Day. And so I'm just here today to do another video because a lot of things are happening as always. So I'm going to go on over to my fair use notice and we'll get into a song on the screen. Children of Abraham, we need prayers every day, prayers every day, prayers every day, every hour. We need the Yeshua Messiah higher. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the fair use notice. And I want to be telling you guys, because today I'm going to be going to a video today that's 20 minutes long. And we're going to be covering Iran with Charles Wheeling. I really want you to get an idea of what he have a series of, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the series right now where I'm going to forget before I get into the song, but this is here a series. I'm going to be doing part 4, okay? Part 4, he have this prophecy video on teachings he did back in 2010, I think. And it's amazing because he been talking about this stuff since he was in his 20s about Iran, America going to be attacking Iran. And so I'm going to be showing you the major part. I know 4 and 5 are major parts, but I'm only do part 4. And I'm going to leave this in my email. So if you want to see the whole series of this video, it's in parts, okay, like 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, that kind of thing. Some of them are 16 minutes, some of them a little less than that. And the videos are kind of weird, so don't get distracted by that because I know he's talking audibly. Just listen to what he's saying because sometimes the screen and his lips don't match up on some of the videos. But other than that, it's a perfectly good video to learn about end time prophecy, what's going on right now, in front of us right now. So I will leave those available for you if you want the whole set. And I can send them to you by email only, by request, okay? And I know a lot of people have been asking about Betty Stevens' message, and I did send out a lot of you her message. But if you still want her message to share with others, you can ask for that as well. Betty's last message, okay, that she did here a few days ago. And then so I'm going to go here now and get into Wings of a Prayer. And then we're going to be ending the video. We're going to get into the Bible today with Ezekiel 25. And then we're going to go into Maranatha, one-to-one witnessing. One-to-one witnessing. Going to do a short missions report from Kenya, Joseph over in Kenya. And that's pretty much what my video is about today. A little news and get into Charles. And then we'll end the video. So I just want you guys to know a lot of things are happening. If you want to find us, we want you to go to BitChute, and also you can go to Rumble. In case you can't find us on YouTube channel, it will be on these sites, okay, as well. So I just want you to know, be familiar with that as well, okay. So let me go on over here now to the song, and here we'll get into the news and all these other things going on around the country, around the world. So let me go ahead now and mute this out.
Back when the blessing was only a dream, oh, Father Abram was looking at me. I'm one of the many stars in the sky. Don't care if I stumble, I'm learning to fly. Children of Abraham, come by of a friend. A token of promise, like one grain of sand, was all that he needed to enter the land. And those who were chosen to answer the call would follow his footsteps, forsaking it all. Forsaking it all. Children of Abraham, come by it honest, living all love in the Father's promise, riding on the wings of a prayer, riding on the wings of a prayer, riding on the wings of a prayer. Back when the blessing was only a dream, oh Father Abram was looking at me. I'm one of the many stars in the sky. Don't care if I stumble, I'm learning to fly. Children of Abraham, come by it honest, living on love and the Father's promise, riding on the wings of a prayer, riding on the wings of a prayer. Riding on the wings of a prayer.
TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Palestinian Islamist rocket fire toward Israel's southern communities draws a retaliatory IDF response against Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip. The Israeli Counterterrorism Bureau maintains its travel advisory for Turkey at its highest alert level as the threat remains imminent. Moscow warns Ankara that a Turkish military operation into Syria will not contribute to Syria's stability as local forces and Iranian proxies establish a joint operation room under Russian protection. IDF, Israeli security agency Shin Bet, and Border Police Special Operations Forces have apprehended dozens of suspects in counter-terror activity over the past week as part of the months-long Operation Wavesbreaker. On Friday, during one of the operation's missions that took place in the Jenin sector of the West Bank districts of Judea and Samaria, Forces of the Golani Brigade engaged a suspicious vehicle in which 3 armed Palestinian militants were located. Following an exchange of fire, the IDF troops neutralized the 3 militants, who were subsequently acknowledged as members of the Iranian proxy Palestinian Islamic Jihad.
צעדו במספר כוחות, חיילים של גולני, במרחב גזרת ג'נין, לעוד לילה של מעצרים. אחד הכוחות זיהה רכב חשוד, נוצר מגע, התקלות בהובלה של מפקדים לפנים וסיכול של חוליית טרור, 3 מחבלים הרוגים.
IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Aviv Kochavi further noted in remarks made to a graduation class of the pre-military Acharai organization that the incident was merely one in a long list of engagements as the State of Israel is forced to contend with an unprecedented amount of threats in multiple sectors.
אין מדינה בעולם שמאוימת כמו מדינת ישראל. אין לזה תקדים, תחשבו על זה. לבנון, סוריה, יהודה ושומרון, עזה, איראן בכל המקומות. אין מדינה בעולם שמתמודדת עם כל כך הרבה אויבים, ובו זמנית גם פועלת בכל הזירות האלה כדי לסכל את הפעילות של האויבים, כדי להרתיע אותם וכדי למנוע מהם להצליח לבצע את מה שהם רוצים.
Meanwhile, during the early hours of Saturday morning, rocket alert sirens sounded in the southern Israeli city of Ashkelon and the Gaza periphery communities, forcing residents to rush into bomb shelters within the IDF Homefront commands, instructed 30 to 15 seconds respectively. Thankfully, the incoming projectile, which was deliberately fired by Palestinian Islamists from Gaza towards civilian communities in Israel, was successfully intercepted by an Iron Dome system, causing no injuries or material damage. In a retaliatory response, IDF aircraft struck a number of Hamas installations in the Gaza Strip. The IDF spokesperson's unit said in a statement that IDF aircraft targeted a weapons manufacturing site located inside a Hamas military post and an additional 3 military posts belonging to the Islamist group in the Gaza Strip. It further highlighted that the IDF holds the Hamas terror organization responsible for all terror activity emanating from the Gaza Strip, a position subsequently echoed by Prime Minister Naftali Bennett in his opening remarks to the weekly cabinet meeting in Jerusalem.
ביום שישי בלילה תקפנו והשמדנו סדנאות לייצור אמצעי לחימה ועוד מספר מטרות של חמאס בעזה. זאת בתגובה לירי רקטה בודדה מכיוון רצועת עזה שיורתה על ידי כיפת ברזל. שלא כבימים עברו, אנחנו כבר לא מחפשים תירוצים עבור המחבלים. אנחנו לא מגדירים אותם סוררים ולא קצר חשמלי. מבחינתנו חמאס הוא הכתובת.
Premier Bennett further stressed Jerusalem's demand that quiet be maintained and also highlighted the relative quiet which has prevailed in southern Israel over the course of the past year.
השנה האחרונה הייתה השנה השקטה ביותר מזה עשור עבור תושבי הדרום. מממוצע של 100 רקטות בשנה ירדנו ל7 רקטות ללא פגיעה בגוף או בנפש. עם הקמת הממשלה אנחנו שינינו את המדיניות מול חמאס בכמה מימדים. הפסקנו מיד את העברת מזוודות הדולרים לחמאס ועברנו ממדיניות של החלת ירי על ישראלים לאפס סובלנות. לצד זאת אנחנו גם שינינו את הגישה שלנו כלפי תושבי הרצועה ופתחנו עבורם את האפשרות לעבוד במדינת ישראל. משכורת ממוצעת של תושב עזה בעזה זה בערך 800 שקלים ובישראל זה בערך 8,000. המרכיב הזה מהווה מרסן לא מבוטל וגם יוצר בידול בין חמאס לבין התושבים. אנחנו מתעקשים על שקט מוחלט לתושבי אשקלון, שדרות ועוטף עזה, וצריך לדעת, לראשונה יש דור שחווה שנה של שקט, דור צעיר בדרום שחווה מה זה שנת שקט.
The Israeli Prime Minister continued by underscoring Jerusalem's goals vis-a-vis security on Israel's southern front.
מטרתנו לקיים חיים בטוחים ושקטים לתושבי הדרום לצד מניעת התעצמות מחודשת של חמאס. וגם פה אני רוצה להבהיר, אנחנו בעבר היו סיטואציות שקונים שקט זמני, אבל משלמים בהתעצמות. כרגע ההתעצמות היא מאוד איטית, היא הכי איטית מזה שנים, מכיוון שאנחנו סוגרים את האפשרות להכניס אמצעי לחימה דרך רפיח, זה בשיתוף פעולה עם מצרים וגם עם ארצות הברית. אנחנו נפעל בעוצמה מול כל ניסיון לערער את השקט הזה. המחירים שאנחנו נגבה מהאויב על כל פעולה נגד אזרחינו יהיו גבוהים וכואבים. אני מבקש להודות לשר הביטחון בני גנץ ולמערכת הביטחון על העבודה המשותפת הזאת.
It is important to know that senior Israeli security officials believe that a rogue organization in Gaza was the one responsible for Saturday's rocket attack on Ashkelon. Nevertheless, Hamas bears responsibility for any terror which emanates from its territory, and therefore, Defense Minister Benny Gantz has decided not to raise the number of Gazans permitted to enter Israel for work at this point in time. In other news, the Israeli Counterterrorism Bureau's travel advisory regarding Israelis traveling to Turkey in general, and Istanbul in particular, remains at the highest possible level. According to corroborated reports, a planned attack by Iranian elements against Israelis in Istanbul is already in motion. Therefore, in statements made by Israel's top political brass, including by Premier Naftali Bennett yesterday, roughly 2,000 Israelis who defy the travel advisory are called to leave Istanbul immediately.
בימים האלה אנחנו גם עדים לניסיונות איראנים לפגוע בישראלים ביעדים שונים בחו"ל. זרועות הביטחון של ישראל פועלים כדי לסכל ניסיונות פיגוע עוד בטרם יציאתם לפועל. אנחנו נמשיך לפגוע בשולחי המחבלים ובשולחי שולחיהם. הכלל החדש שלנו, מי ששולח משלם. לצד זאת אנחנו פנינו לאזרחי ישראל באזהרה להימנע בעת הזאת מלטוס לטורקיה אם זה לא הכרחי, בדגש מיוחד על איסטנבול. הסכנה שם עדיין גבוהה. אני קורא לאזרחי ישראל לגלות אחריות אישית ולשמור על ביטחונם.
Meanwhile, Israeli President Yitzhak Herzog spoke to his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan yesterday, during which the Israeli head of state voiced Jerusalem's gratitude for Turkey's relentless efforts to protect Israeli civilians on its territory. Separately, Israeli Foreign Minister Yair Lapid is expected to travel to Ankara and meet with his Turkish counterpart Mevlut Çavuşoğlu on Thursday. And while the meeting aims to focus on the security situation in Israel-Turkey bilateral relations, at least officially so, it is interesting to know that Saudi Crown Prince and Defense Minister Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud is expected to visit Ankara for an official visit on Wednesday as part of a regional tour which will include Egypt, Greece, and Turkey, among others. In other yet related news, several militias with Syrian, Iranian, and Kurdish affiliations had announced last month the formation of a joint operations room ahead of an imminent Turkish operation in northern Syria. The joint operations room, which was erected within a Russian military base under Moscow's protection, includes the Kurdish YPG militia, which is the largest component of the US-backed SDF alliance, the Fatimiyun militia, an Iranian proxy manned by Afghan Shiite militants exclusively loyal to the Islamic Republic's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the Lebanese Iranian proxy Hezbollah, and the Syrian Arab Army and its paramilitary Ba'ath battalions. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin's spokesman Dmitry Peskov highlighted Moscow's objection to the looming Turkish offensive, warning that it will not contribute to stability in Syria.
Мы не считаем, что эта специальная операция будет способствовать стабильности и безопасности в Сирийской Арабской Республике.
A similar message to Ankara was also conveyed by Iran, whose relations with Turkey are seemingly gradually deteriorating over a list of contrasting geostrategic interests throughout the region. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. It is important for us to highlight that TV7 Israel is a donation-based ministry. Therefore, if you're blessed by our productions and are willing to do so, please consider making a financial contribution that in turn will enable us to sustain our ongoing operations. Additionally, I would like to encourage you pray for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide and for the peace of Jerusalem and the salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Essen wishing you a Shavua Mevorach, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.
Exodus has now begun at the White House, where many of Biden's staffers are now vacating the premise, leaving Biden a little nasty surprise. But before I get into the report, just a reminder, check out my partner at preparewithlisa.com. If you guys do not have food storage, especially in light of what is going on today, we are in the middle of a food crisis, and there are many economists saying that this is about to get much worse. Everything's going up, gas is going up, food is going up, inflation obviously is skyrocketing. Now is the time to prepare and have extra food on hand. And right now, you can get $150 off of the 3-month food supply kit there. It comes with over 2,000 calories per day. It's a great thing to have on hand, especially in light of what's going on. And it's got 25 years shelf life. So check it out at preparewithlisa.com. So let's start with the mass exodus that is now underway at the White House. You see, over the past couple of months, there has been multiple resignations, and might I say, way more than normal with this Biden administration. Let's start with one of the biggest names, Jen Psaki. Here we have ABCnews.com. Jen Psaki has left the White House. Obviously, she has her replacement now there, which might I say she's not very good, but I digress. That was obviously one of the big names leaving, but there's also been multiple just within these past couple of months. Here's Communist News Network Politics Biden advisor Cedric Richmond set to leave the White House as well. We also have LA Times California native leaves the White House for the State Department and staff they're calling reshuffle. Of course they are. We have Patel, an assistant White House press secretary, will leave post next month to serve as a spokesman at the State Department. Then we also have FoxNews.com, White House Rapid Response Director to transition to Treasury Department role. And that was actually Mike Gwen who left. He left his post to join the Treasury Department. We also have here Michael Kiwaka, and I'm probably butchering that, but he has also left the White House for a new role, if you will. And here's TheHill.com White House counsel Dana Remus to leave role next month. Here's another person exiting. And of course, right after Jen Psaki, we also have President Biden's press office for Chief of Staff Amanda Finney also departed from the White House amid, by the way, reports of a black staffer exit. What is this black staffer exodus they're talking about? Well, take a look at Politico.com. Biden sees exodus of black staffers and some frustration among those who remain in the White House. It goes on to state this: at least 21, that's huge, by the way, 21 black staffers have left the White House since last year or are planning to leave very soon. Some of those who remain say it's no wonder why. They describe a work environment with little support from their superiors and fewer chances for promotion. The departments have been so pronounced that according to one current and one former White House official, some black aides have adopted a term for them: Blacksit. Now it goes on to state the exodus has raised concern among outside observers who push for the diversification of government ranks. I have heard about an exodus of black staffers from the White House, Blacksit, and I am concerned, said Spencer Overton, president of the Joint Center for Political and Economic Studies, which tracks government staff's diversity numbers. That means for the president of the United States to claim that he has the most diverse staff in U.S. history to now have what they're calling a Blacksit from the White House, that should raise some concerns, or as the Spencer Overton put it, well, I am having some concerns about lots of black staffers leaving the White House. Very interesting. These are not normal amounts of numbers, in my opinion, of people leaving all within a set of time. And I didn't even get into the staffers that have left over the past years, but in all, a huge chunk have. In fact, take a look at this dailymail.com article, The White House Great Resignation. There's that word. 2/3 2/3 of Biden's press shop have left in the spaces of weeks because of low morale, they claim, long hours, and low pay. At least that is what they're claiming. May I add what I personally think it is? Like, my little op-ed news. Like, why do I think these staffers are leaving? Because Biden sucks and nobody supports him. Right. From either side of the aisle, take a look at this Breitbart.news poll. Just 33% approve of Joe Biden. Lowest, tying him for the lowest approval rating. 33%. Even his own party, by the way, doesn't want the guy to run again. He can't put a sentence together. He makes clumsy move. Obviously, you guys probably saw him falling off the bike. He's fallen on the stairs. He's got some pretty intense issues that I think need to be looked into. But either way, the guy's not real coherent, and he's destroying our country. He butchered Afghanistan, leaving billions, millions, I don't know, millions, probably in the billions, millions of dollars of equipment, from Humvees to helicopters to night vision goggles. I mean, really? Why don't you just throw away the American money, which is what he did, right? Not to mention all the other mishaps, inflation, sky-high gas prices, which I believe were done on purpose because he bragged and campaigned all about that. And now, right, Biden administration's own people, the Democratic Party, are not very happy with him. They don't want him to run. Well, I think this is obviously getting to the staffers as well, who don't want to be associated with a failing regime. And I say regime because Biden is a dictator, issuing executive order after executive order and just stomping on our rights. Anyhow, wanted to bring you the latest on all of that. Would love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa.
We're seeing people be robbed as they just try to go up and fill their tanks. And we're starting now to see more grocery store damage across the country. This is a war that is going to send our entire world into chaos. And when we take a step back and start to see the forest beyond the trees, listen to what Britain is being told. Their army is being prepared right now to fight possibly a decade-long war with Russia. British soldiers must get ready to fight Russia in a third world war. That's according to the new army chief, General Sir Patrick Sanders. He's taking over for General Sir Mark Carleton Smith. He wrote to his charges about the challenges that they face. He told British soldiers that they are a generation that must prepare to fight in Europe on the land once again. This is as the Russian conflict continues to intensify. This is a quote. There is now a burning imperative to forge an army capable of fighting alongside our allies and defeating Russia in battle. We are the generation that must prepare the army to fight in Europe once again. He added that Russia's invasion underlines the army's core purpose to protect the UK and all of Europe, and it has led to a new era of insecurity. As Russia and China both come out and they say that there is a new world order that is being formed. And we see Venezuela, Nicaragua, Iran, we see Belarus, we see all of these other countries standing behind the Chinese yuan, standing behind the Russian invasion. And we see a division really cracking the earth in half. We start to begin to see that this isn't all just smoke and mirrors, that it's all not just hearsay. When you look at what the U.S. military is preparing for, what NATO is getting ready for, what the British Army is preparing for, what Poland is saying to do. Poland right now is telling NATO to put nukes in the hands of the Russian opposition to stop this war. We have a conflict taking place that is going to forever change the face of our planet for many, many years. I guess
Today is June 20th, 2022, 1 p.m. Central here in the U.S. God bless you and yours no matter where you are in the world, folks. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. You're looking at the Long Valley Caldera boundary here, and it's much larger than you might think. Lookout Mountain is included Casa Mountain, Laurel Mountain, Mount Morrison. What we're most concerned with is Mammoth Lakes. We're seeing a huge swarm right at the surface of Mammoth Lakes, Mammoth Mountain. Let's get over there and take a look. Before we do that, hundreds of articles, this one back 25 years ago, saying that Mammoth Lakes is destined for a volcanic eruption from the Los Angeles Times. They've been monitoring it for 17 years. The last eruption occurred about 250 years ago, which I guess is about 274 years ago now. And, well, we're looking for another one very, very soon here. This could be the actual volcano awakening, or one of the craters associated with the Long Valley Caldera awakening. So we've just had a very large or sizable earthquake happen right where I didn't want it to happen. I want y'all to zoom into Mammoth Lakes with me and see what exactly is occurring. It is frightening. It doesn't look like much until you get close in, and we will go through Mammoth Lakes, Mammoth Mountain, you name it, guys. We're right there. Mammoth Lakes, Long Valley Caldera. This is right at the caldera. Definitely a lot of volcanoes surrounding this caldera. Go through, it's right on a road as well. That road must be just about gone based on what I'm about to show you. All right, zooming in, we have, go figure, 33 earthquakes and rising, because there's a huge swarm, and it was just 20 some odd earlier. Now, what's really scary, ladies and gentlemen, is when we're looking at these earthquakes at Mammoth Mountain and Mammoth Lakes, most of them are very, very close to the surface, which tells me magma is pushing very close to the surface. We will actually go to Peakery to find the altitude of this area here, but we're seeing quakes. A 3.0 just struck a second ago, but this is 2 kilometers above ground, 0.1 kilometers above ground. That was a little deeper, thank God, 0.3 kilometers. 2.2 kilometers above ground, which is going to be over a mile. We have to see how high and what altitude these quakes are occurring at. So it'll be easy with Peakery. You can probably do it with this. Let's take a look. All right, believe it or not, they do not have altitudes anywhere on the USGS map. Go figure. We do know that it's right near the airport here. Mammoth, the Yosemite Airport, right there, folks, in between, Lake Crowley and Mammoth Lakes. And let's continue. A lot of very shallow earthquakes, if not above ground, i.e. eruptions, 0.6, 0.4, negative 0.2, negative 0.9, negative 1.8 kilometers, negative 3, negative 8. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're in trouble here. This is right where they're expecting a volcanic eruption. Why would all these be swarming so close to the surface? There's a road that runs through there. The road's got to be gone. All right, these are all 0.3, 0.8, 0.1 above sea level. 0.2, this is 2.2 kilometers above sea level. We have to see if there's even going to be a peak that high in this area. Well, I hope there is. If not, we're actually seeing magma perhaps. 0.6, 0.8, 0.8, all above sea level. 0.7, 0.5, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. 0.7, they're all going to be above sea level. Magma pushing hard at the surface. Now, we just did have that 3.0 quake. I am glad that it was a little deeper than some of the others. Another 2.6, a little bit deeper, not really, 0.1 kilometers. Let's go to Peakery and find out exactly what we're dealing with here. All right, this is Peakery.com, and we're right to where we need to be here. Here's the airport. That's the Mammoth Lakes. I'm about to show you guys right now. Airport here. There's the Mammoth Lakes cutoff. It's the mountain right there. Some of it is on the mountain. The problem is most of the mountain's only about 2,200 feet. Most of this is on the road over here, these big ones. They're going to be very close to sea level based on what we're looking at. So here we are spread throughout this area. That's 1,700, 2,250, 2,300 feet. And again, most of it's happening down here that looks like it's about sea level. Let's find out how high above sea level some of those quakes are going to be right here. Again, let's look. There's the airport. That's the mountain we're on. The highest is about 2,300 feet, which these don't even seem like they're near that point. Most of it's down on the road, which looks like sea level. Let's see how high these things are. Now, I don't want to scare anyone, but I want y'all to see what's going on here. 2 kilometers is 6,561 feet. Each 0.01 additional kilometer is around 35 feet. Almost exactly 33 feet, right? So here we go. This is not going to be pretty. They're saying that that earthquake there was 6,561 feet above sea level. They're showing it closer to at sea level here, not 6,500. Remember, the mountain tops off at about 2,300 feet above sea level over here.
June the 20th, 2022. Guys, you're looking at an article this morning. It's from Jim Hoft, and it says East Coast truckers are stalled out on the highway waiting for gas. The gas stations are out of diesel. Also today, diesel hit a record high of $5.81 a gallon. Now, that's an average. Some places are higher, some are a little lower. But some places we're seeing $6. And in the video, if you decide to watch the one I linked, the reason I say that, this trucker is extremely mad and extremely verbal. And it's not for tender ears. But anyway, it shows him beside the highway on an, looks like an off-ramp. You've got a Love truck stop on the left, big major one piling on the right. Both of those are out of diesel. There's another truck pulled over behind him on that off-ramp, and there's a parking lot full of trucks waiting for diesel. We talked about this in May in a video that they said there would be East Coast shortages coming. And we know what the grand design is here. We don't have to talk about it. Everyone on this channel, probably everyone on the planet, if you think about it, because every country's been affected by extremely poor policy. So everyone's awake. But we knew this was coming. Again, today, the national average on diesel was $5.81.6 per gallon. Now, that doesn't include the DEF, the additive. Now, looking at these average gas prices, at the bottom, it goes back a year ago. Regular gas averaged $3.70. A lot of places it was $2.40, and I remember when it hit $4.80 earlier this year, it had doubled in the last 2 years. And you can see that diesel was $3.21 a gallon. But if you look at current averages, regular gas is just under $5 at $4.983 a gallon, mid-grade 5.3. Some cars run on premium. They were designed for that, $5.67 a gallon. Diesel leads all of that, which is very unusual, at 5.816. As the effect alone in the last 2 years has been superinflation because of the cost of transportation. Now, again, a warning on the language in the video. I will link to this article, and you can click on the video if you want to watch it. Don't watch it with your kids around, because there's a lot of F words. He's very angry. But he shows you where he's stranded on the highway, other trucks. Again, it looks like maybe the Love's parking lot is the one that's full. You can't see anything but the sign for the pilot on the other side of the highway. but it's probably the same situation. He's even talking about they're out of DEF, the additive. He says his truck doesn't use it, but they're out of it. They're even out of motor oil. Now, he's talks about a farmer has agreed to sell him 50 gallons of what's called red diesel, which you're really not supposed to run, but he's in an emergency as far as being stranded. That's all he needs is to get that trailer back where he can park it. Looks like a heavy equipment trailer. Gives you a good idea of the situation. Not sure where on the East Coast he is. Some of you guys may recognize it. It doesn't mention that in the article. If you do recognize the area, come in the comments and let us know. You may recognize it. It looks like, kind of looks like Interstate 10, but I'm not sure exactly, which runs east and west, I think from over Jacksonville all the way over to California. But I'm not sure. It could be one of the north-south highways along that area. I'm just saying that's what it looks like. It's an interstate. But if you got the ears that can handle it, check it out. You can hear the frustration. It's not for the young, but it is what it is. We need to wake up to it. If you're not prepared, if you're not ready for what could happen very quickly, you're going to be caught off guard in this tsunami of chaos, of food shortages, people stranded. It's not going to end well.
News report today. Today is June 20th, 2022, 11:30 a.m. Central here in the U.S. God bless you and yours no matter where you are in the world, folks. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. Well, there's a run on the banks in China currently. Long lines in Hanai, Shanghai, and Dandong. People are reportedly lining up for hours in China to obtain money from their bank accounts that is not available. This has been happening since late last week, folks. The large cities of Henan, Shanghai, and Dandong are the three cities where the lines are the longest. After years of COVID mandates and a government that the average Chinese down deep doesn't trust, the people of China are scared that they will not be able to retrieve their life savings. In some cities, people are standing in lines for hours to receive their money from their banks, but nothing is available, folks. Recently, freezing depositors' accounts by 4 rural banks in Hanai has become a hot topic on social media. As a result, customers of major banks could not withdraw their money, which led to them to move to Zhengzhou, Henan, to claim their rights. Following Henan, banks in Shanghai and Dandong also witnessed long traffic jams in front of their headquarters. Depositors in Dandong, Liaoning province, could not receive deposits, period. YouTube channel Ziying Shu posted a video stating that on June 17th, many people lined up outside Dandong Bank waiting to withdraw their money. The channel wrote, "It's done. Bank can't withdraw money." There was a run on the banks in Dandong and a thunderstorm on the banks of Henan village caused the panic. In a video, a long line of depositors can be seen outside the Dandong Bank, hoping to be able to withdraw some of, not all, of their money. Go to the video. Please don't think it can't happen here, because it can and it will shortly. Remember, this is a long weekend. What have we always heard about long weekends? Look at the lines. This is a smaller province. Now, this was Friday. Police are trying to make sure these lines aren't forming again right now. So there's actually clashes going on. I won't be showing you the clashes. but there are clashes. People want all of their savings immediately. They have lost all confidence in the government and the banking system, which I guess we should have already played that card here in the U.S. long ago. God bless you and yours. Please share it. Please subscribe.
Alright guys, I'm going to get on over here to Charles Wheeling 20-minute video. I told you if you want to see the whole video, which is like almost an hour and something, I forget if it's close to 2 hours, but it's in different parts and you have to look at the parts. I'm going to part 4 today to get to the nitty-gritty of Iran and what he did in 2010 and 2010. So let me just get there now. Let me go ahead and mute out again.
He had his own militia. He's Shiite. He has made no bones about it. He is waiting for the Americans to leave. Has said so. Most of these IEDs that blow the guys up and their equipment going down the road, these come from Iran in the last 2 or 3 years. Come from, manufactured in Iran, come through the Shia element right here in the south, the Mahdi army, the Sadr's militia, and these come in and these are passed out and put on the roads to kill Americans and whatever, all right? You have to understand what's going on here. Now this is the point you cannot miss, folks. Don't miss it. Daniel opens this vision describing what he sees by saying, I was at Shushan in the palace at the province of Elam, and I found myself in vision beside the river YAH. But it's 300-400 kilometers long, you know, 200-300 miles long. Where is he standing? When you first read it, you say, well, he's right there at Shushan. He's at Susa. He's at, you know. No, you keep reading. Because finally, when Gabriel shows up in Daniel's vision to say, I'm supposed to explain this to you and give you instruction concerning the vision you've seen, Gabriel is standing at the widening of the YAH. Large body of water, lake, ocean, sea, a river. Small body of water, large body of water. When the lesser stream meets the larger, it can't pour its sediment out because there's a larger volume of water pushing against it. And it forms what's called a delta or an alluvial fan. If you read Daniel carefully, this is where Gabriel is standing in the vision. Yeah, I want you to see this. You need to understand. We're looking at Basra, and why should we give attention? Because 6 months ago, the British, who were our allies in Iraq, pulled out of Basra. During those years, since 2003, Iran has infiltrated an estimated 250 to 300 plus thousand Shia insurgents through here. Now we have the British out of Basra and we have the Americans pulling out. You better watch the news. You better watch the news. What happens is the second higher horn does something to aggravate, irritate, madden this power from the West that has a horn, it says, a notable horn And Gabriel tells Daniel that that horn is the first king. He's the #1 guy. So the notable horn in the second vision, I maintain, represents the lion with eagle's wings. And he comes and he throws him down and he stamps on him. I mean, Ahmadinejad, he's trying to look tough. He's a pansy. This is not a fight. At the personal level, I don't expect us to go into Iran with troops on the ground, but I expect us to blow the hound dog out of them by missile, by air, by whatever. Okay? What you're not reading every day and not hearing every day in the news is that the U.S. now has 2 entire battle groups in the Persian Gulf, one right outside. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we moved the one in the Persian Gulf just outside. I mean, that's just a bathtub. You don't want to get caught in there. Water's too shallow. The U.S. and Israel are doing everything that they can to goad Ahmadinejad, Iran and Syria, etc., into doing something so that we now have cause to come in and get you. Every other day in the news, the Israelis are prepared to bomb Iran. And on and on and on. I don't know what Iran and Ahmadinejad are going to do. I don't know if it's a combined attack on Americans here and the Israelis here out of Syria and Hezbollah and Hamas. I don't know. I rather suspect that there's a plan in place. I don't know. Whatever it is, that's the trigger point. Right here. Whatever, you know what a Pyrrhic victory is? You win the battle, but you lose the war. Yeah. That's what's being described here. We beat the stew out of them, but we lose because there's an economic collapse that follows. You have to go on in Daniel's second vision to see that this is what it's all about. Now we have the world hanging by a thread as it is economically, I'm talking about. You've got Europe in turmoil, you've got everybody out there, and the Chinese are putting on a brave show and, oh, we're growing and we're, you know, if everybody doesn't go to Walmart, you understand. The whole world and the markets, the global stock markets and the banking system are hanging by a thread. And all we need is another war in the Middle East. And you will not wake up to a stock market going that way. You can see this, can't you? Does this make any sense to you at all? This is what Ahmadinejad has boasted, that America is vulnerable and that if she attacks us, we will break her financially. That's the boast. That's in writing. It will happen. It will happen. And it is part of a dark strategy from the dark side. Because when you have a crisis, you can put a Hitler in power. Yes or no? Yeah, yeah. When people are hurting, they're looking for somebody to ease the pain. And in this crisis, number one, we're going to have, I believe, an economic collapse that will collapse the U.S. dollar, collapse the U.S. economy. And if we have time later in the afternoon, I'll take you into a dream or vision that was given to Nebuchadnezzar, King Nebuchadnezzar, which as far as I'm concerned, absolutely represents this superpower at the end. And it says 7 years of misery and poverty are going to follow. And that's the 7 prophetic years of the end, right here. So it is possible. That's all I can say. I'm not a prophet, not the son of one, but it is possible in my reading of what's going on here that you and I, in this country, which is the most powerful, richest nation ever in the history of mankind, are about to become a third world nation. And we're about to eat crow. I mean, it's no more chicken. Say, well, what is this all about? Because there's a sinister power behind all of this to create a crisis. The New World Order has a history, and I'll take you back very quickly in the history. We had the First World War. That's 1916 to 1918, thereabouts. First World War. It's called the First World War because there had never been a world war before. And this involves many nations and men being transported across oceans and on and on and on. And the First World War was such an awful event in the history of mankind. And all that followed, because you had the millions of people who lost their lives in this 2-3 year scenario, 4 years. And then you had this Spanish flu that came along and wiped out another 50 million people as well. And people thought this is the end of the world. They literally believed this, a lot of people. And it was the President of the United States of America, U.S. of A. Number 1 horn, eagle's wings. It's the President of the United States of America, and he was, come on, who was president? Who? Woodrow Wilson, thank you. I am old, okay? Woodrow Wilson. It was Woodrow Wilson who stood up at the end of that First World War and announced to the leaders of the nations that were broken, that were broke, that were whatever. And he said the world cannot survive another world war. We cannot have another. And it was President Woodrow Wilson who proposed the League of Nations, it was called. And it originated in the United States of America in New York City. The League of Nations. And if you'll read just a little history on the League of Nations, its purpose, everything behind it, they said, this will end all wars because we're going to find common ground between the nations. This is the war that's going to end all wars, and the League of Nations is going to bring the world together. Well, how many years did it take until the Second World War came along? Not many. Not many. Not many. And now we have the Second World War that made the First World War look like a, you know. Hitler was personally responsible for the death of 57 million people because he's the one that kicked it off and then got the Japanese and the Italians and the Americans and the British and the Russians and everybody. 57 million people died as a direct result of Hitler. As soon as Hitler was out of the way, Stalin took over in Russia. You have any idea how many million Stalin got rid of? Minimal 60 million. Some estimates I've read as high as 90 million. Nobody knows. There was no real count taken. Okay? When Stalin is gone, Mao Zedong comes along. Have you ever read any estimates about how many million Mao Zedong got rid of? 75 plus million people. In a stretch of 2-3 decades. At the end of the Second World War, this statement was made: the League of Nations has not worked. We must come together. And it was changed to the UN, United Nations. Where is it located? Come on, New York City. The United Nations is treated like Washington, D.C. It's in the United States, but the property belongs to a separate entity. All right? That property was donated, that the UN building stands on, by the Rockefeller family. U.S. Now, when we get to this vision of Daniel, mirrored and enlarged and zoomed in upon in the book of Revelation, we see the lion, the bear, and the leopard. This is in Revelation 13. And they're all put together. That's the beast that's on the way. We will not see that beast until we have a crisis. It has to be global. That's why the four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. No, there's trouble all over the world. It's going to be trouble, trouble, trouble everywhere. We have to have this crisis. And then we're going to see this first beast rise. And he's going to strut his stuff. He's going to do his thing. And he's going to propose a new world order. We got to have new money, new banking system. We got to get rid of all the debt. I watch Glenn Beck. I can't help it. I don't know if it's news or entertainment. It's both. I watch Glenn Beck. I respect the man. Glenn Beck is like a lot of other, quotes, conservative voices out there, and he's concerned about all the trillions that we're going into debt and in debt and owe, and we can't pay it, and our kids can't pay it, and our grandkids and our great-grandkids, and down the line. We'll never be able to pay off this debt. I sent him an email and said, Glenn, come on, hang it up. They don't plan to pay this debt off. No. They don't plan to pay this debt off. We're going to have a crisis. And then they're going to put this plan together in which if you'll just get on this horse with us, if you'll ride in this buggy with us, we'll cancel all your debt. That's the carrot we hang out there. And things are going to look up. It's going to take about 3 years or so. Things are going to be looking up. Oh, not great the first day or the second or the first year or the second it gets, it's looking up, looking up. But then the Bible says, this is New Testament, the Bible says, and when they shall say peace and it says in the King James peace and safety, but if you read it in the original, it says when they shall say peace and prosperity, crisis number 2 comes. Sudden destruction. Boom. We have to deal with that later in the afternoon. This is where we are right now. This is where we are right now. We don't have a full-fledged new world order yet, but let me tell you, folk, when you see the DVD and you just follow, just go online, go online and plug in New World Order and read yourself crazy. Because the leaders of these nations are desperate. They know they cannot pay the debt. They know that. You want an interesting sidelight here? About 20 or so years ago, there was a couple of guys in Kansas. I believe they might have been Missouri, Kansas or Missouri. And they thought the world was ending back then, and they thought all of this that's going on right now was happening back there. And so they gave themselves to some intensive study of Matthew 24 and Mark 13 and Luke 21 and Jesus' conversation about the time of the end. And they focused in on Luke 21 and verse 25, 26, etc. I'll just quote it for you. Upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after the things that are coming on the earth. What they did was go back and just parse this thing, going through the Greek. And they said, you know, we've looked at this, and this is really what it says if we could put it in modern English. The time is coming when the nations cannot pay their bills, and there will be no way out. And I say, wow. Somebody read the news before it got there. That's where we are. You know it, I know it, the world knows it. There's no way to pay our way out of this debt. No way. But this is the plan to do it right here. New world order. As opposed to what comes down the line. We have to talk about this in the afternoon. There will be a collapse of the dollar. The Chinese announced it 3 weeks ago. The Chinese announced 3 weeks ago that they would no longer buy U.S. treasuries. They are holding about $1.1 trillion U.S. greenbacks. What are they worth? What are they backed up with? Was there a time in American history when the U.S. dollar, the greenback, had something behind it? Yes.
Fort Knox.
You know all of this. I don't have to tell you any of this. Federal Reserve note. Okay? What does that mean? It means if you're dumb enough to take it, that's what you got. Well, what does it have behind it? Well, what it has had behind it are the Saudis and the Chinese and the Japanese and the other countries out there buying U.S. Treasury bonds, U.S. Treasury notes, which allowed us to print more greenbacks and keep things going, okay? When they stopped buying U.S. Treasury notes and Treasury bonds, here's what happens. It was announced a week ago. Are you listening? Maybe I shouldn't tell you. That the Federal Reserve has been pushed into the corner and is now having to buy its own Treasury notes. So let's see if you understand what's going on. I print this to buy this that I printed, so I can print more of this. I'd like to do that in Alabama. Can you even feel the crisis that's brewing? Listen, folks. You're talking about the most powerful nation, economically, militarily, etc. You're talking about the most powerful nation in the history of mankind. And you're talking about bringing this powerful superpower to its knees. And you say, wow, no, you don't understand. That's you and that's me. We're coming down. So I want to put this together and then put things into your hands in case you're not coming back. Shame on you if you don't come back at 2. Daniel says to King Nebuchadnezzar, you're this head of gold. You're the number one. You're the guy. In the second dream given to Nebuchadnezzar, you're the great tree and all the birds of the air and all the beasts of the field, and you're feeding the whole world. What? In case you don't understand it, we have about 6 to 8% of the world's population in the U.S. We consume 80% of the world's goods and services. You're this great tree. Everybody's looking to you. You're feeding everybody. You're giving everybody what they need, and you're coming down, King. Cut this tree down. You're going to go crazy.
Wow, guys, I'm telling you, he's been talking about this stuff for many years, Daniel. I'm just going to go ahead and show you again in case you're interested, okay? I want you guys to know that you can ask me for the parts, all this whole series of, I think it's called, what is the name of that title? It's called Bankrupt, America Bankrupt, and Iran is next. Iran is next, the war with Iran. And he's giving it to you from the Bible perspective, okay? Not his own opinion. It's from the Bible perspective. So if you want to go and look at the whole video, you have 12 parts here, people. And I'll be glad to send it to you to watch or to listen to, because I think some of the parts are kind of, yeah, a little messed up inside. But it's okay. And I even I wrote them the other day and asked for a copy of the, hoping I could get a copy of the whole DVD again, but I don't know if you have it again because it's back in 2010. But anyway, you do have it here to listen to if you want to listen to the whole series of it. I think everybody should watch my channel, listen to it if you want to be familiar what's going on with prophecy and Daniel and Iran going on and stuff happening. So let me go on over here now and get into a mission report. I think I have a little short mission report from my brother in Africa there, if I could find out where it is. And then we're going to get on into the Bible. And where did I put that video? Here it is here. We're going to get into the Bible. And so that's what I'm going to go ahead and play Joseph a little bit here and get into the Bible. And we already at an hour and 12 minutes. So it should be about an hour and a half when I'm done here. So let me go ahead and play that now. Let me mute out again. Boy, I hope you guys are really understanding what we're about to go through in this country, okay?
Hello and praise Jesus. My name's Apostle Joseph Rodindo from Kenya, Feed My Sheep Today missionary. I'm here to bring to you a good news that this week I am going to have a project that I have named a mattress project tour, and we are going to be visiting orphanages, homes where there are needs for mattresses, and we will be giving out mattresses for the orphans, and we will also be giving mattresses to some widows. And also we will be visiting one of the prisons in Kenya where we'll be giving mattresses. And this is because these people are suffering, sleeping on the floor, cold floor, and it has not been so easy for them. And you will be able to see in some pictures and videos how their mattresses are torn, and some does not have mattresses completely. But the Lord is making a way, and we are starting a tour visiting and giving a mattress. And it is mattress save an orphan, mattress save a widow, mattress save a prisoner, an inmate. God bless you as I take this opportunity to welcome you to be part of this project. Say a prayer and help if you can. You are a blessing, and thank you so much for your support and prayers.
Yeah, guys, so many people in need, and like I said, we're about to become a third world country, and I believe it. And even in this country, I'm getting more videos and email requests for homeless people now, more than ever. Even I know people personally having problems with homelessness. And so, you know, our brother, I guess, got a email this week from Vegas area, and I was sending out some references and information because, you know, we have a lot of information that we need to be aware of to help the homeless people. What do you call those things now in each country, almost in each state, from Salvation Army, and it's called
rescue missions?
Yeah, the rescue missions, but the name for the homelessness, they can get apartments and things like that, and it's called
transitional housing.
Transitional. That's the key word. Transitional, okay, housing people. And so you need to, if you know anybody homeless in your area, in your community, whatever, in your family, don't matter, you need to hook them up into resources that they can use. Go do a Google search for transitional housing, and you'll come up with a long list of references that you can use for people who are helping people who are homeless that need opportunity for apartments or cheap housing, need food and shelter and clothing, whatever. And so it's happening all over America right now. People living on the beach, people living, my mother was telling me, in Fort Lauderdale, people have been going to the all-night movies, all-night movies to get a place to put a shelter over their head. And it's really a sad predicament all over the country, all over the world. We're having homelessness like never before. So this is why all the funds this month, the next 3 months, are going to help the homeless in whatever situation they are in my country, my neighborhood. People in California, I just sent some offerings out to California. So we definitely need your contributions to come in to help with the homelessness the next few months as the summer is appearing. Because a lot of people are going to be out in the heat, in the rain, in the wind, in the storms, whatever. And we need to try to help them with motels sometime, hotels sometime, just to have temporary shelter or food or water or whatever they need. Like we take water out. Tomorrow we'll be going out tomorrow looking for homeless people in my area to get water to and things like that. So please, people, understand how serious these times are. So I'm going to go ahead and let my husband get into Ezekiel because time is running. Father, be with us with Ezekiel right now. We know it's a lot going on. We know China is doing certain things with the money, bank runs, and as Charles Wheeling was talking about China. And it's just a lot going to be going on, just like he said. The Bible has told us. So we go into Ezekiel now. We ask that you put your Holy Spirit around us as we read Ezekiel to your people, to myself, to my husband, as we study your gospels and your prophecies, as all these things are coming to pass before our eyes. We thank you so much, Father. Fill us up with your Holy Spirit. We ask it in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Thank you so much. So we're going to get into Ezekiel 25. If you want to follow us in your Bibles, okay? Because this is the Son of Man Bible version, so you can go to, I like to go to Ephesians Amplified version and King James version, but he's going to go to the Son of Man Bible version. It breaks it down a little more, but go ahead and read, honey, if you want.
All right. Then the word of Yahuwah came to me and said, Son of man, set your face against the people of Ammon and prophesy against them. And the Ammonites, or the people to the east and southeast, and basically these are the neighbors of the nation of Israel, close neighborly nations. Well, they weren't that neighborly. That's why they're going to be judged and will be judged. Say to the people of Ammon, hear the word of Lord Yahuwah. This is what Lord Yahuwah says, because you say, aha, over my sanctuary when it was profaned, and against the land of Israel when it was desolate, and against the house of Judah when they went into exile. Therefore, behold, I am giving you to a people in the east as their possession. They will set up camp against you and set up their tents among you. They will eat your fruit, and they will drink your milk. I will make Rabbah a pasture for camels, and the people of Ammon a field for flocks. Then you will know that I am Yahuwah. For Lord Yahuwah says this, you have clapped your hands, and stamped your feet, and rejoiced with all the contempt within you against the land of Israel. Therefore, behold, I will strike you with my hand, and give you as plunder to the ethno-linguistic nations. I will cut you off from the people, and make you perish from among the countries. I will destroy you, and you will know that I am Yahuwah. Lord Yahuwah says this, because Moab and Seir say, behold, the house of Judah is like every ethno-linguistic nation. Therefore, behold, I will open the slopes of Moab, starting at his cities on the border, the splendor of Beth Jeshimoth, Baal-meon, and Kiriathaim. To the people of the east who have been against the people of Ammon, I will give them up as a possession, so that the people of Ammon will not be remembered among the ethno-linguistic nations. So I will perform judgments against Moab, and they will know that I am Yahuwah. And Lord Yahuwah says this, Edom has taken vengeance against the house of Judah and has committed wrong in doing so. Therefore, Lord Yahuwah says this. Notice he doesn't like that. Father does not like people beating up on Israel. Just take note of that, and we'll watch what happens. Therefore, Lord Yahuwah says this, I will strike Edom with my hand and destroy every person and animal there. I will make them a ruined, abandoned place from Teman to Dedan. They will fall by the sword. I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they will do to Edom according to my anger and my fury, and they will know my vengeance, Lord Yahuwah declares. Lord Yahuwah says this, the Philistines have taken vengeance with malice, and from within themselves they tried to destroy Judah again and again. So this is what Lord Yahuwah says, behold, I will reach out with my hand against the Philistines. And these, of course, are the people along the Mediterranean coastline of Israel. And I will cut off the Cherethites and destroy the remnant who are along the sea coast. For I will take great vengeance against them with furious acts of punishment. So they will know that I am Yahuwah when I take my vengeance on them. See, he did this once in history.
Yeah.
But it's also a prophecy for what's coming real soon to the Middle East.
Yeah, and they got China in there too. I can't see in your version, but if I go over here to oh, I can't find it. The other version. Oh yeah. If I go over there to Amplified version, it talks about the people from the east. And you know, I'm telling you guys, we know China and Russia and all of them are getting together. You heard the guy say today that Syria, Turkey, and the other country, Iran, or was it another country? They all getting together, these people. These people who we know gonna cause us great trouble. Oh, there it is, yeah. Therefore, behold, I am delivering you to a people of the east for a possession. So see, they're right here in the Bible. China, you know.
I don't know if it's reaching that far. I mean, Iran. See, if you look at this map, Iran's to the east.
To the east too. So.
And Saudi Arabia.
It's all in the Bible,
and
I hear people say, well, that's the Old Testament. It ain't for us today, you know. Blah blah blah. Everything's coming from the Old Testament. Daniel dreams. All these things are significant right now, people. So I'm gonna stop because time is rolling, and I'm gonna get on over to this other. I got to do the Maranatha. It's really a good thing here, Maranatha. So let's go to Maranatha, and where we can end, we're going to go to one-to-one witnessing. One-to-one witnessing because, you know, we need to be witnessing more now than ever, telling people Yeshua is coming, telling people to get ready, telling people to stop sinning, telling people to preach every day, in season and out of season. Do what we can while we can, because I'm telling you, it's coming so close. As Betty said on her message this week, what? The Antichrist is a whisper away, people. And so if you didn't hear Betty's message, ask me for it, and I will email it to you. Just email me at marner.campbell@gmail.com, and I'll send it to you as well, as long with the other videos from Charles. So if you want to see the whole complete video of that America collapse, the collapse, what is it? Bankrupt. America bankrupt, and Iran is next, okay, if you want to see that, okay, the whole series. Either one of those topics, you can ask me for it. So let me go ahead and play this real quick and get out of this. Time is really going.
April 7, one-to-one witnessing. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. John 3:16. Why are not all who claim to love God seeking to enlighten their neighbors and their associates, that they may not longer neglect this great salvation? Christ gave himself to a shameful, agonizing death, showing his great travail of soul to save the perishing. O Christ is able, Christ is willing, Christ is longing to save all who will come unto him. Talk to souls in peril and get them to behold Jesus upon the cross, dying to make it possible for him to pardon. Talk to the sinner with your own heart overflowing with the tender, pitying love of Christ. Let there be deep earnestness, but not a harsh, loud note should be heard from the one who is trying to win the soul to look and live. First, have your own soul consecrated to God. As you look upon our intercessor in heaven, let your heart be broken. Then, softened and subdued, you can address repenting sinners as one who realizes the power of redeeming love. Pray with these souls, by faith bringing them to the foot of the cross. Carry their minds up with your mind, and fix the eye of faith where you look, upon Jesus the sin-bearer. Get them to look away from their poor, sinful selves to the Savior, and the victory is won. They behold for themselves the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world. They see the way, the truth, and the life. The Sun of Righteousness sheds its bright beams into the heart. The strong tide of redeeming love pours into the parched and thirsty soul, and the sinner is saved to Jesus Christ. Christ crucified, talk it, pray it, sing it, and it will break and win hearts. This is the power and wisdom of God to gather souls for Christ. Formal set phrases, the presentation of merely argumentative subjects is productive of little good. The melting love of God in the hearts of the workers will be recognized by those for whom they labor. Souls are thirsting for the waters of life. Do not be empty cisterns. If you reveal the love of Christ to them, you may lead the hungering, thirsting ones to Jesus, and he will give them the bread of life and the water of salvation.
Yeah, that's what the world needs. That's what the world needs. All over the world, people need salvation. I pray every night for every unsaved person to come to Yeshua Messiah. All of my families and the missionaries' families all over, your family, that they will come to Yeshua Messiah higher, because time is running out. All these other religions not going to save you. Religion's not going to save you. Any kind of religion not going to save you, okay? Only Yeshua have to go in and do heart surgery. So as he says in John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. So people, it's time to really stop faking with God, stop playing with God, stop rejecting God, stop running away from God, and give your life to Messiah Yeshua today. So I'm going to have my husband go ahead and end with prayer as soon as we get through this. Like I said, the world going to be on fire one time. Yeshua said he's going to set the world on fire. Not going to be water. It's going to be fire, okay? We know we got a lot of lightning storms. A lot of storms are coming. These prophecies are real, and real as they can be. They're coming to pass right before our eyes. All the homeless people need your help today, people all over the world. This is Marlene. She works over in Redding, California, and she works with the homeless over there. Very good friend, contact of mine that we work together in the homeless field. So she was the one giving out food and giving out tracts and Bibles, and she also give out meals, what do you call it, meal cards. Coupon cards from places to get a hot sandwich from, like Burger King, wherever they can get a hot sandwich from. So these are some homeless people we met in our area not too long ago. We went out and gave Bibles out and food and water and money. So, we need to be working with the homeless much as we can. But we know the eagle is flying high, but not much longer. America is about to go down, people. I hate to say it. It's true. It's coming. It's happening. It's happening. So we ask that you please, I like this, my husband put this up one time. We need to love our neighbors, thy homeless neighbor, thy Muslim neighbor, thy black neighbor, thy gay neighbor, thy immigrant neighbor, the Jewish neighbor, the Christian neighbor, the atheist neighbor, thy addicted neighbor. And we know we have a lot of problems in the mental health field right now today. It's all on the news. So we need to love our neighbors as ourselves, help each other, lead them to the cross, lead them to Yeshua Messiah Haya. It's what we should be doing today, sharing tracts, Bibles, whatever we can with people to get them to the cross. So I'm going to go ahead and let my husband pray. And did I go and do that closing? No. Didn't I do the closing? I didn't do the closing. Okay. Well, let's do the closing and do prayer and get out of here because time is gone. I want to thank you guys, really. I appreciate your prayers for my family, your family. We pray for everybody. We can pray for my husband. I tell you, I pray a lot at day and night, morning and evening. I'm praying, okay? Every day, not once a week, okay? Because it's important that we pray without ceasing. But pray without ceasing. Why we pray? What Yeshua said to pray without ceasing? Because the world is evil. Because the times are evil. That's why we pray without ceasing. So I thank you for all your offerings to help the homeless, the orphans, the widows, those in need in mission fields. May Yahuwah richly bless each and every one of you. We got donation options: Tiley app, Cash app, bump card at GeneandMarner.thebumpcard.me. Also down at donation options at our website, fmcmi.org. And if you go to our website, you'll see a lot of more materials on there to read and study and learn about us, who we are, and also Bible material and free Bible material. But you can go there also and then pay PayPal at marner.cam@gmail.com. Also at mailing your donations at Fill My Cup Ministries, Post Office Box 414, Canon City, Colorado 81212. And shipping address is Fill My Cup Ministries, 1501 Main Street, number 414, Canon City, Colorado 81212. So we thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your prayers. And we we just ask God to bless you guys, because I'm telling you, I wouldn't know how we would get through this ministry without you. So we really appreciate each and every one of you. So I'm going to have you go ahead and pray right now. Let's pull out here something to pray over here. I'm looking forward to my fire coming. So we just know the trumpet's going to sound one day, people. We need to get ready. Stay ready. Stay ready. Stay ready.
Father, we just thank you. Thank you for everybody who gets to watch the videos. Father, bless each one. Father, thank you for our contributors, our donors. We lift them up, protect them from the enemy, and prosper them, bless them. Father, we love them. And Father, if you want to send more and more and more givers, we receive them. We receive them because there's lots of need, and we'll try to meet as many as we can. We'll try to meet as many needs as we can, Father.
Yes.
We bless you. We sure look forward to you bringing this all to a close, bringing the world to an end, and setting up Yeshua's kingdom on this planet, because that is an exciting day. We're looking forward to the arrest of Hasatan and his reign of terror.
Hallelujah.
We love you, Yeshua. Pray in your name. Amen.
A lot of prayer requests. My next video, I'm going to go over through some prayer requests and some that's been being answered. And also, I'm going to be doing some testimonies on my next video. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you on another video. I love you so much. Thanks for holding in here. Video, hour and 32 minutes. So I love you so much. Shalom, shalom. I love you.
All right. Bye-bye.